Ever felt like your brain just doesn't want to cooperate? Like you're trying to learn something new, but it feels like climbing Mount Everest in flip-flops? Well, what if I told you that learning isn't about working harder? It's about working smarter. And guess what? Your brain is already wired to make it easier than you think. Yep, your brain is a supercomputer. But here's the kicker. Most of us don't know how to use it properly. Today, we're breaking down exactly how your brain learns, and I promise, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Stick with me, and by the end of this video, you'll have a cheat code to unlock your brain's full potential. Let's dive in. Raise your hand if this sounds familiar. You've got a big test, a new skill to learn, or maybe even a hobby you've been putting off. You sit down, ready to conquer it, but after 10 minutes, your brain feels like mush. You start scrolling on your phone, telling yourself, I'll get back to it later. Sound familiar? Here's the truth. It's not your fault. The problem isn't you, it's the way you've been taught to learn. Most of us were told to just study harder or practice more, but no one ever explained how our brains actually work. And that's where the magic happens. Here's the deal. Your brain learns by creating connections between neurons. Think of it like building a road network. Every time you learn something new, your brain paves a new road. The more you use that road, the stronger it gets. But if you don't use it, the road gets overgrown and disappears. That's why cramming doesn't work. It's like trying to build a highway in one night. So, how do you build strong, lasting roads in your brain? It's simpler than you think. Let me break it down into 3 easy steps. Step 1. Chunk it down. Your brain loves bite-sized pieces. Instead of trying to swallow the whole elephant, break it into smaller chunks. For example, if you're learning a new language, don't try to memorize 100 words at once. Start with 5. Small wins build momentum. Quick question. What's one thing you've been putting off because it feels too big? Could you break it into smaller chunks? Let me know in the comments. Step 2. Space it out. Cramming is like watering a plant once a month and expecting it to grow. Spoiler, it won't. Your brain needs time to process information. Studies show that spacing out your learning sessions helps you retain information way better. So instead of studying for 5 hours straight, try 30 minutes a day for a week. Your brain will thank you. Pro tip: set a timer for 25 to 30 minutes, focus intensely, then take a break. It's called the Pomodoro technique. It's a game changer. Step 3. Make it stick. Your brain loves stories, visuals, and emotions. The more you can connect what you're learning to something you already know, the better it sticks. For example, if you're learning history, imagine yourself as the main character in the story. Or if you're studying math, use real-life examples like budgeting or cooking. Here's a fun challenge. Next time you're learning something new, ask yourself, how can I make this more fun or relatable? Trust me, your brain will eat it up. Let's try a quick win. Imagine you need to remember this grocery list: milk, eggs, bread, and apples. Instead of repeating it over and over, try this. Picture a cow holding an egg, wearing a bread hat, and juggling apples. Sounds silly, right? But guess what? You'll remember it way better because your brain loves weird, vivid images. See? Learning doesn't have to be boring or hard. It can be fun and even a little weird. So, what's your next learning goal? Whether it's acing a test, mastering a new skill, or finally picking up that hobby, remember, your brain is already a learning machine. You just need to give it the right tools. Start small, space it out, and make it stick. You've got this.